What if you could relive every moment of your life, feeling not only your emotions, but those of everyone you've ever affected? John J. Davis experienced just that during his unprecedented 20-minute journey in the afterlife. In the next few minutes, we'll explore John's life review, a profound experience that revealed the ripple effects of every action and the true power of kindness. This video might just change the way you live your life, one decision at a time. On a crisp autumn morning, John J. Davis woke to the familiar chime of his alarm clock. He stretched, yawned, and began his daily routine, blissfully unaware that this ordinary Tuesday would become the most extraordinary day of his life. John, a 45-year-old accountant with a penchant for early morning jogs and black coffee, slipped on his running shoes and headed out the door. The air was cool and crisp, carrying the scent of fallen leaves. John's breath formed small clouds as he jogged his usual route through the neighborhood. His mind wandered to the day ahead, a client meeting at 10, lunch with his daughter, and the pile of paperwork waiting on his desk. Little did he know, fate had other plans. As John rounded the corner onto Main Street, a sharp pain suddenly seized his chest. He stumbled, gasping for air. The pain intensified, radiating down his left arm. Confusion and fear washed over him as he realized something was terribly wrong. He tried to call out, but the words caught in his throat. The world began to spin, and John's legs gave way beneath him. He collapsed onto the sidewalk, his body convulsing. Passers-by rushed to his aid, their voices a distant murmur as John's consciousness began to fade. A young woman dialed 911, her hands shaking as she described the scene to the dispatcher. Others gathered around, offering words of comfort and support, though John could no longer hear them. Minutes stretched like hours as they waited for help to arrive. Finally, the wail of sirens cut through the morning air. Paramedics burst onto the scene, their movements swift and precise. They surrounded John's now motionless body, working frantically to revive him. The rhythmic compressions of CPR and the whir of the defibrillator filled the air. As the medical team fought to restart John's heart, something remarkable began to unfold. John's consciousness, no longer bound by his physical form, began to separate from his body. He felt light, unburdened, as if he were floating above the chaotic scene below. From this vantage point, John observed the frantic efforts to save his life with surprising clarity and detachment. He saw the determination on the faces of the paramedics, the concern etched on the bystanders' features. He could even make out the intricate patterns on the defibrillator pads as they were applied to his chest. The experience was surreal. John felt no pain, no fear, only a profound sense of peace and curiosity. He watched as one of the paramedics called out, "We're losing him!" Yet strangely, these words held no terror for John. Instead, he felt drawn to something beyond the physical realm, a pull he couldn't quite explain. As the medical team continued their desperate efforts, John's awareness began to shift. The scene below started to fade, replaced by a sensation of movement, of being drawn towards something vast and unknown. John's journey into the afterlife had begun, leaving behind the earthly drama of his own resuscitation. Little did John know that this was merely the beginning of an extraordinary odyssey, one that would challenge everything he thought he knew about life, death, and the nature of existence itself. As the earthly drama of his resuscitation faded from view, John found himself on the threshold of a realm beyond imagination. The boundary between the physical and spiritual worlds blurred, revealing a truth both profound and unsettling. What if everything we thought we knew about death was wrong? John's consciousness, now liberated from his physical form, experienced a profound sense of detachment. The weight of his earthly existence melted away, replaced by an inexplicable lightness of being. He felt drawn towards an unknown force, gently but persistently pulling him away from the familiar world he had always known. As John surrendered to this otherworldly current, he noticed a startling absence of fear. In its place bloomed an overwhelming sense of curiosity and peace. The worries and anxieties that had once plagued his daily life seemed distant and inconsequential in the face of this new reality. John's journey into the afterlife realm began with a sensation that has puzzled researchers and fascinated the public for decades: the infamous tunnel phenomenon. But this was no ordinary passageway. As John was drawn deeper, he found himself enveloped in darkness that felt warm and comforting, like a soft blanket on a cold night. This tunnel was far from an empty void. It pulsed with an energy that defied description, alive with threads of light weaving intricate patterns. John instinctively understood these illuminated strands as the very fabric of existence itself. As he moved through this cosmic tapestry, he became aware of a sound unlike anything he had ever heard before, a celestial symphony that resonated within his very being. John would later struggle to put this experience into words, describing it as the music of creation. This ethereal melody seemed to communicate profound truths that transcended language, filling him with a sense of awe and wonder that words could never fully capture. As John's journey through the tunnel continued, he noticed a gradual change. The comforting darkness began to give way to a soft, radiant light. This light was unlike any he had encountered in the physical world. It was alive, intelligent, and radiating an impossible depth of love and acceptance. John felt completely known by this light, as if it could see into the very depths of his soul. Yet, instead of feeling exposed or judged, he experienced an overwhelming sense of unconditional love and welcome. The light seemed to embrace him, drawing him ever closer to its source. As John approached this living light, he became aware of other presences surrounding him. These beings, though invisible, communicated not through words, but through a direct exchange of feelings and thoughts. Their ethereal voices created a sense of belonging and acceptance that John had never before experienced. John's extraordinary journey was far from over. As he moved deeper into this new realm, guided by the pulsating light and surrounded by these unseen presences, he stood on the brink of revelations that would forever alter his understanding of life, death, and the very nature of existence itself. John's journey through the tunnel of light culminated in an encounter that would challenge the very foundations of his understanding. As he emerged from the radiant passageway, he found himself in the presence of beings unlike anything he had ever encountered. These entities, often described in near-death experiences as beings of light, defied physical description and stretched the limits of John's comprehension. At first, John struggled to make sense of what he was perceiving. These beings had no discernible form, yet they radiated an intelligence and warmth that felt unmistakably real. They appeared as shimmering, luminous presences, their essence pulsating with a love so profound it seemed to permeate every fiber of John's being. He felt simultaneously overwhelmed and embraced, as if he were encountering long-lost family members after an eternity apart. What struck John most was the method of communication. There were no words exchanged, no sounds uttered, yet he found himself engaged in the most intimate and clear dialogue he had ever experienced. Thoughts and feelings flowed between John and these beings instantaneously, conveying complex ideas and emotions with a clarity that surpassed any earthly conversation. It was as if the very essence of understanding had been distilled and shared directly between consciousnesses. The overwhelming sense of love and acceptance that emanated from these beings left John in a state of awe. He felt completely known. Every aspect of his being laid bare, yet there was no judgment, only unconditional acceptance. This profound connection created a sense of familiarity that transcended his earthly experiences. John would later describe it as coming home after a long journey I didn't even know I was on. As John basked in this extraordinary presence, he began to sense a deeper purpose to this encounter. The beings seemed to be guiding him, preparing him for something of great significance. Their ethereal communications began to coalesce around a central theme, hinting at a profound revelation that awaited him. With growing anticipation, John realized that these entities were not merely welcoming him to this realm, they were preparing him for an experience that would reshape his understanding of existence itself. The concept of a life review began to take shape in his mind, not through explicit explanation, but through a growing awareness that seemed to unfold naturally from his interactions with these beings. As this realization dawned, John felt himself approaching a new threshold. The beings of light had opened a door to understanding that he never knew existed, and now they were gently ushering him towards an experience that promised to unveil the very tapestry of his existence. With a mixture of excitement and trepidation, John prepared to step into a realm where the boundaries of time and perspective would dissolve, revealing the true impact and interconnectedness of every moment of his life. As John stepped into the realm of his life review, he found himself immersed in a sea of memories. But these weren't just his recollections, they were living moments, pulsating with the emotions of everyone involved. What if you could experience your entire life again, feeling not just your own joy and pain, but that of every person you've ever touched? The concept of a life review, commonly reported in near-death experiences, unfolded before John in a way that defied conventional understanding. Time and space, as he knew them, ceased to exist. Instead, John found himself navigating a tapestry of moments, each thread representing a choice, an action, or a relationship that had shaped his existence. As John began to relive key moments of his life, he realized with a jolt that he was experiencing them from multiple perspectives simultaneously. The first time he fell in love, he felt not only his own nervous excitement, but also the tentative hope of his partner. The argument with his father that had haunted him for years now revealed itself in a new light as John felt his father's frustration and underlying concern. This non-linear journey through his past transcended the boundaries of chronology. John witnessed the ripple effects of actions he had long forgotten, understanding for the first time how a small act of kindness had changed the trajectory of a stranger's life, or how a careless word had caused pain that echoed through years. The intensity of the experience grew as John delved deeper into the intricate web of his existence. He saw how moments of anger or neglect had caused pain, creating negative ripples that extended far beyond what he could have imagined. Yet, he also witnessed how small acts of compassion had blossomed into profound positive changes in the lives of others. As the review progressed, John began to grasp the true power and reach of every choice he'd ever made. The interconnectedness of all beings revealed itself in vivid detail, showing John that no action, no matter how insignificant it might have seemed, was without consequence. This revelation wasn't a judgment, but rather a compassionate teaching. John understood that the universe was conveying profound lessons about love, forgiveness, and the importance of living with intention. He saw patterns that spanned across multiple existences, hinting at a journey of growth and evolution that extended beyond a single lifetime. As the life review concluded, John found himself grappling with newfound insights about the nature of existence. The boundaries between self and other, past and future, had dissolved, revealing a cosmic dance of interconnected beings and moments. He understood now that every action carried immense power, creating ripples that extended far beyond what anyone could perceive in the physical realm. John emerged from the experience transformed, carrying with him a deep sense of the profound impact of every moment and the incredible power of unconditional love. As he prepared to face the next phase of his journey, John knew that his understanding of life, death, and the very fabric of reality would never be the same. John's journey took an unprecedented turn as he entered a realm that defied description, a place of pure knowledge and understanding. Imagine a cosmic library where the wisdom of the universe converges, where the deepest truths about existence are not learned, but simply known. This was the extraordinary realm John now found himself in, a dimension that challenged everything he thought he knew about reality. As John attempted to process his surroundings, he felt overwhelmed by the vast sea of information suddenly available to him. It was as if the collective knowledge of all existence was pouring into his consciousness, threatening to overcome his ability to comprehend. The beings of light that had guided him thus far seemed to sense his struggle, offering gentle reassurance as John grappled with the enormity of what he was experiencing. Gradually, key revelations about the nature of reality began to crystallize in John's mind. He understood, with a clarity that transcended mere intellectual knowledge, that everything in the universe is interconnected. John saw existence as a vast, intricate web of energy and consciousness, where every action creates ripples extending far beyond what one can perceive in the physical realm. This realization brought with it a profound sense of responsibility and awe. As John delved deeper into this cosmic understanding, he encountered a truth that would forever change his perception of life. Love is the fundamental force that underpins the universe. This wasn't the limited, conditional love he had known on Earth, but an all-encompassing, unconditional force that bound all of creation together. John realized that this love was the very essence of existence, the energy that flowed through and connected all beings. With each new revelation, John felt his understanding of life transforming. The mundane concerns that had once preoccupied him now seemed trivial in the face of these universal truths. He began to see how every moment of his life, every interaction, was an opportunity to align with this cosmic force of love and contribute to the grand tapestry of existence. As John absorbed these profound lessons, he came to a startling realization about the nature of fear. The beings of light conveyed to him that fear is merely an illusion, a distortion of reality that arises from a false sense of separation. In this realm of pure understanding, John saw clearly how fear had limited him throughout his life, preventing him from fully embracing love and connection. The power of this revelation was transformative. John understood that overcoming fear was essential to embracing the fundamental truth of existence, the all-encompassing power of unconditional love. He saw how letting go of fear could open oneself to the infinite possibilities of love and connection that permeate the universe. As John continued to absorb these cosmic truths, he sensed that his journey was approaching a pivotal moment. The wisdom he had gained was reshaping his understanding of life, death, and his place in the grand scheme of existence. Yet as he stood on the brink of even greater revelations, John felt a new tension arising, a sense that he would soon face a choice that would determine the course of his journey through eternity. As John stood at the precipice of eternity, a profound question echoed through his being. If given the choice between infinite peace and returning to a world of pain and struggle, what would you choose? This seemingly simple decision would test the very essence of John's newfound understanding of love and purpose. In this moment, John encountered a phenomenon reported by many near-death experiencers: the choice to return to their physical bodies or to stay in the afterlife realm. The beings of light surrounding him fell silent, their radiance dimming slightly, as if to allow John the space to contemplate this monumental decision. John found himself torn between two worlds. On one side, the indescribable peace and all-encompassing love of the afterlife beckoned him. Here, he felt a sense of belonging and understanding that far surpassed anything he had experienced on Earth. The weight of earthly concerns had melted away, replaced by a profound connection to the universal consciousness. Yet, as John contemplated this eternal peace, thoughts of his loved ones on earth began to surface. He saw the faces of his children, felt the warmth of his wife's embrace, and remembered the unfinished conversations with his aging parents. The idea of leaving them behind, of causing them pain and grief, created a deep ache within his soul. John wrestled with this emotional struggle, trying to reconcile his desire for the bliss of the afterlife with his sense of responsibility to those he would leave behind. He wondered about the impact his death would have on his family, friends, and colleagues. Would they understand the profound truths he had discovered, or would his passing only bring confusion and sorrow? As John grappled with these questions, the beings of light surrounding him began to communicate once more. They shared insights about John's life purpose, revealing aspects of his journey that he had yet to fulfill. They showed him glimpses of potential futures, of lives he could touch and hearts he could heal if he chose to return. John began to understand that his near-death experience wasn't just about his own spiritual awakening. It was an opportunity to bring a message of love, hope, and interconnectedness back to the physical world. The potential impact of his return started to crystallize in his mind. The chance to share the profound wisdom he had gained, to help others overcome their fears of death, and to spread the message of universal love. With this realization, John made his decision. Despite the allure of eternal peace, he chose to return to his earthly life. He understood now that his journey was far from over, that he had a unique opportunity to bridge the gap between the physical and spiritual realms. As John embraced his choice, he felt a shift in the energy around him. The beings of light seemed to pulse with approval, their radiance intensifying as they prepared to guide John back to his physical form. John knew that the path ahead would be challenging, that integrating his otherworldly experience into his earthly life would require courage and perseverance. Yet he felt ready to face these challenges, armed with the profound wisdom and love he had encountered in the afterlife. John's journey back to the physical realm began with a gentle tug, as if an invisible thread were pulling his consciousness towards his body. The process was slow and deliberate, a stark contrast to the instantaneous nature of his experiences in the afterlife. As he drew closer to the earthly plane, John felt a growing heaviness, the weightlessness of pure consciousness, giving way to the familiar constraints of physical form. The transition was bittersweet. John yearned for the boundless love and wisdom he had encountered, yet he understood the importance of his return. As his awareness began to reconnect with his body, he experienced a sensation akin to putting on a suit of armor, protective but restrictive. The limitations of his physical senses felt almost suffocating after the expansive awareness he had known. Emotions washed over John as he left behind the realm of light and love. A profound sense of loss mingled with determination and purpose. He knew he carried within him a message of hope and transformation, yet he wondered how he could possibly convey the depth of his experience to others. Gradually, John became aware of his surroundings in the hospital room. The beeping of monitors and the hushed voices of medical staff filtered into his consciousness. The sterile smell of disinfectant replaced the indescribable fragrances of the afterlife. Each sensation served as an anchor, tethering him more firmly to the physical world. The medical team, who had been working tirelessly to revive John, stood in stunned silence as they witnessed signs of life returning to their patient. After nearly 20 minutes of clinical death, John's sudden revival defied medical explanation. The room buzzed with a mixture of disbelief and cautious hope as vital signs began to stabilize. As John's eyelids fluttered open, he was met with a world that seemed both familiar and utterly transformed. The fluorescent lights of the hospital room paled in comparison to the radiant beings he had encountered. Yet, as his gaze fell upon the faces of the medical staff, he saw in their eyes a reflection of the same divine spark he had witnessed in the afterlife. John's first words were barely a whisper, but they carried the weight of his extraordinary journey. "It's all about love," he murmured, his voice hoarse from disuse. The medical staff exchanged puzzled glances, unaware of the profound transformation their patient had undergone. As John fully regained consciousness, he realized that his greatest challenge lay ahead. How could he integrate the transcendent wisdom he had gained into the everyday realities of life? The contrast between the realm he had visited and the world he had returned to was stark. Yet he knew that bridging this gap was now his life's purpose. John's remarkable return marked not an end, but a beginning. His journey of transformation would continue as he sought to translate the ineffable truths of the afterlife into a language the world could understand. The road ahead promised to be both daunting and exhilarating as John embarked on his mission to share the profound message of universal love and interconnectedness with a world desperately in need of hope. Imagine waking up with a secret so profound it could change the world, yet finding no words to express it. This was John's reality as he faced his first days back among the living. How would he bridge the gap between the indescribable and the everyday? John's return to consciousness in the hospital room marked the beginning of a challenging journey. As he regained his strength, he found himself grappling with an experience that defied explanation. The medical staff, while amazed at his recovery, could offer no scientific explanation for what had transpired during those 20 minutes of clinical death. Upon returning home, John faced the daunting task of reintegrating into his daily life. The mundane routines that once filled his days now seemed trivial in comparison to the profound truths he had encountered. He found himself pausing to marvel at the beauty of a sunrise or the sound of a child's laughter, seeing in these simple moments echoes of the divine love he had experienced. John's attempts to share his experience with friends and family were met with a mix of skepticism and curiosity. Some dismissed his account as a hallucination brought on by lack of oxygen to his brain. Others, moved by his sincerity, struggled to comprehend the enormity of what he described. John found himself at a loss for words, realizing that human language was inadequate to convey the depth of his experience. Despite these challenges, John noticed profound shifts in his priorities and outlook on life. The fear of death that once lurked in the corners of his mind had vanished, replaced by a deep understanding of life as a continuation rather than an end. This newfound fearlessness became a cornerstone of his new life, allowing him to approach challenges with a calm and purposeful demeanor. As days turned into weeks, John began to notice changes in his perception of others. He found himself more attuned to the emotions of those around him, often sensing their joys and sorrows before they were expressed. This heightened intuition allowed him to connect more deeply with the others, offering comfort and understanding in ways he never could before. John grappled with how to honor the insights he had gained. He felt a growing sense of responsibility to share the message of love and interconnectedness he had experienced. Yet he questioned how to translate these profound truths into a language that others could understand and embrace. After much contemplation, John made a decision that would alter the course of his life. He would share his story, not seeking to convince others of its veracity, but to offer hope and a new perspective on life and death. He began by speaking at small gatherings, his words resonating with those facing terminal illness or grieving the loss of loved ones. As John's journey of transformation continued to unfold, he realized that his near-death experience was not an end, but a beginning. Each day brought new challenges and opportunities to embody the love and light he had encountered. With every person he touched, every story he shared, John felt he was building a bridge between two worlds, bringing a glimmer of the divine into the earthly realm. Can one man's brush with death truly change the lives of thousands? John's experience was about to put this question to the test, as his story began to touch hearts and minds far beyond his small town. The results would astonish even the most hardened skeptics. As John's account of his near-death experience spread, it ignited a spark of hope and wonder in those who heard it. What began as quiet conversations with close friends and family soon grew into larger gatherings, with people drawn to the sincerity and depth of John's words. His story offered a glimpse into a realm beyond our physical existence, challenging long-held beliefs about life and death. The reactions to John's tale were as varied as the individuals who heard it. Some listened with skepticism, their rational minds struggling to reconcile John's extraordinary claims with their understanding of reality. Others found profound comfort in his account, especially those grappling with grief or facing terminal illness. For them, John's words were a balm for their fears, offering hope that death was not an end, but a transition. John's changed behavior and outlook had a ripple effect on his relationships. Friends and family noticed a newfound serenity in his demeanor, a quiet strength that seemed to emanate from within. His interactions became more meaningful, infused with a depth of understanding and compassion that hadn't been present before. Even those who doubted his story couldn't deny the positive transformation they witnessed in John. As word of John's experience spread, he found himself becoming an unexpected source of support for those facing life's greatest challenges. Terminal patients sought his counsel, finding solace in his assurances of a peaceful transition. Grief-stricken individuals found comfort in his description of a realm where their loved ones continued to exist, free from pain and filled with love. John's words served as a reminder that even in the face of death, there is hope, beauty, and a deeper truth waiting to be discovered. The impact of John's story began to extend beyond his immediate circle, touching lives in ways he never anticipated. People from different walks of life, some traveling great distances, sought him out to hear his account firsthand. Each retelling of his experience seemed to unlock something within his listeners, challenging their perceptions and inspiring them to reconsider their understanding of existence. As John's message of love and interconnectedness spread, it began to transform lives in profound ways. People reported feeling less afraid of death, more appreciative of life, and more connected to those around them. Some found the courage to mend broken relationships, while others were inspired to pursue long-forgotten dreams. John's experience had become a catalyst for personal growth and spiritual awakening in countless individuals. The ripples of John's near-death journey continued to expand, challenging not only individual beliefs, but also broader societal paradigms. His story began to attract the attention of researchers and spiritual leaders alike, sparking discussions that bridged the gap between science and spirituality. As John's account reached an ever wider audience, it became clear that his brief journey into the afterlife was having a lasting impact on the world of the living. John's near-death experience, once a personal journey of transformation, now stood at the crossroads of science and spirituality. His detailed account, rich with vivid descriptions and profound insights, caught the attention of researchers and skeptics alike. Could the most comprehensive near-death experience ever recorded withstand the scrutiny of scientific investigation? The scientific community, long intrigued by near-death experiences, saw in John's story an unprecedented opportunity. Here was a chance to delve deeper into the mysteries of consciousness, to explore the boundaries between life and death that had puzzled humanity for millennia. Researchers from various fields, neuroscience, psychology, and even quantum physics, converged to study John's case. As scientists began their investigations, they quickly found themselves grappling with a fundamental challenge. How could they reconcile John's extraordinary account with current scientific understanding? The vivid details he provided, the consistency of his story, and the profound impact it had on his life all pointed to something beyond mere hallucination or oxygen deprivation. Various theories emerged, each attempting to explain near-death experiences through neurological or psychological mechanisms. Some researchers suggested that NDEs might be the result of a dying brain's last gasps of activity, while others proposed that they could be a form of dissociative experience triggered by extreme stress. Yet, none of these explanations seem to fully capture the depth and transformative nature of John's experience. John willingly subjected himself to a battery of tests and interviews. He underwent brain scans, psychological evaluations, and hours of questioning. Throughout it all, he provided consistent and vivid details of his journey beyond death. His unwavering account, coupled with the observable changes in his personality and outlook, presented a compelling case that defied easy explanation. As researchers delved deeper into John's story, they began designing new studies to investigate specific elements of his account. They explored the nature of consciousness, probing the boundaries between mind and brain. They examined the phenomenon of out-of-body experiences, seeking to understand how one could perceive events while clinically dead. Each new avenue of inquiry seemed to raise more questions than answers, challenging long-held assumptions about the nature of reality itself. Despite the challenges, John's experience began to contribute to advancing scientific understanding of consciousness. His case provided valuable data for researchers studying the complex interplay between brain function and subjective experience. It sparked new theories about the nature of perception and the potential for consciousness to exist beyond the confines of the physical brain. As the implications of John's near-death experience extended beyond individual transformation, it became clear that his journey had opened a new chapter in the exploration of human consciousness. The ripples of his experience continued to spread, touching not only the lives of individuals, but also pushing the boundaries of scientific inquiry. What began as one man's brush with death had become a catalyst for a deeper understanding of life itself. While scientists grappled with the implications of John's near-death experience, he found himself confronting an even greater challenge. How could he possibly convey the magnitude of what he had discovered about love in the afterlife? The answer would lead him to see the world in a completely new light, forever changing his understanding of human connection. As John reflected on the central theme of his journey beyond death, he was continually drawn back to the profound sense of love he had encountered. This wasn't the limited, conditional love he had known on Earth, but something far more expansive and transformative. It was, as John described it, universal, unchanging and absolute, the very essence of existence itself. Yet, as John attempted to express this transcendent love in his everyday life, he found himself struggling. How could he possibly translate such an all-encompassing force into the mundane interactions of daily existence? The beings of light had shown him that love in its purest form is unconditional, selfless, and infinite. But manifesting this in the physical world proved to be a formidable challenge. As days turned into weeks, John's understanding of love began to expand beyond the boundaries of human relationships. He started to perceive the interconnectedness of all beings, seeing humanity as a single organism, interconnected and interdependent. This vision filled him with a sense of hope and urgency to inspire others to embrace the truth of oneness. John began to notice manifestations of this universal love in unexpected places. A stranger's kind gesture, the resilience of nature after a storm, even the intricate patterns of a spider's web, all seemed to pulse with the same divine energy he had experienced in the afterlife. He realized that love was indeed present everywhere, waiting to be recognized and nurtured. As John grappled with how to share this profound message, he remembered the words of the beings of light, encouraging him to live as a vessel of love and light, and to inspire others to do the same. With this guidance in mind, John began formulating a way to convey his insights to a wider audience. He understood that every act of kindness, no matter how small, carried immense power, creating ripples that extended far beyond what anyone could perceive. John's perspective on love as the fundamental force of existence began to resonate with many who heard his story. People were drawn to the idea that the ultimate goal of life is not material success, but the expansion of the soul's capacity to love, forgive, and connect with others. His message offered a powerful antidote to the fear and division that often seemed to dominate the world. As John continued to share his experiences and insights, the transformative power of unconditional love became increasingly evident. People reported feeling more connected, more compassionate, and more aware of the impact of their actions on others. John's journey had not only changed his own life, but was now rippling outward, touching hearts and minds in ways he could never have imagined. John's journey of transformation didn't end when he returned from the brink of death. Instead, it marked the beginning of a profound, ongoing process of integrating the wisdom he gained into his everyday life. Each day presented new opportunities and challenges as John strived to embody the universal love and interconnectedness he had experienced in the afterlife. John found himself approaching life's difficulties with a newfound sense of calm and purpose. Where once he might have reacted with frustration or anger, he now paused to consider the broader implications of his actions. He began to see conflicts not as personal affronts, but as opportunities for growth and understanding. This shift in perspective didn't make the challenges disappear, but it fundamentally altered how John navigated them. One of the most noticeable changes in John's behavior was his heightened awareness of the present moment. He spent hours in meditation and reflection, practices that helped him reconnect with the love and light he had experienced during his journey. These moments of quiet contemplation became essential anchors in his daily routine, allowing him to maintain a sense of peace amidst the chaos of everyday life. John's relationships underwent a profound transformation as well. The life review he experienced during his near-death journey had shown him the ripple effects of every interaction. Now, he approached each conversation with a new level of mindfulness, aware of the potential impact his words and actions could have. He found himself reaching out to people he had hurt or neglected in the past, seeking reconciliation and healing. As John continued to integrate his experiences, he developed a deep sense of purpose. He felt called to help others, not through grand gestures, but through small acts of kindness and compassion. He volunteered at local hospices, offering comfort to those facing the end of life. His presence and words brought solace to many, as he shared his understanding of death not as an end, but as a transition. People around John began to notice the profound change in him. Friends and colleagues commented on his inner peace and asked about its source. John found himself sharing his story more frequently, not to convince others of its truth, but to offer a perspective that might bring comfort or inspire reflection. Despite the positive changes, John sometimes struggled with feelings of isolation. The world around him often seemed focused on superficial concerns, making it challenging to maintain his newfound perspective. In these moments, John would remind himself of the universal truths he had encountered, finding strength in the knowledge that love underlies all existence. As time passed, John's transformed life became a living testament to his extraordinary experience. His journey continued to ripple outward, touching lives in ways he could never have anticipated. Through his actions and his presence, John offered a glimpse of the profound love and interconnectedness he had experienced, inviting others to consider the possibility of a reality beyond what we can see and touch. John J. Davis's near-death experience has left an indelible mark on the world, its impact reverberating through society years after his remarkable journey. What began as one man's extraordinary encounter with the afterlife has blossomed into a phenomenon that continues to challenge our understanding of life, death, and consciousness itself. As John's story spread, it became part of a growing tapestry of near-death testimonies that have captured the public imagination. These accounts, once dismissed as mere hallucinations or the product of oxygen-deprived brains, have gained credibility as more individuals like John step forward to share their profound experiences. Society now grapples with the implications of these widespread reports, forcing us to question long-held beliefs about the nature of existence. John's detailed account has played a crucial role in changing perceptions of death and consciousness. His vivid descriptions of a realm beyond our physical world have offered comfort to those facing mortality and solace to those grieving lost loved ones. More than just a tale of personal transformation, John's experience has become a beacon of hope, suggesting that our consciousness may indeed continue beyond the threshold of death. The scientific community, initially skeptical of John's claims, has found itself increasingly intrigued by the consistency and depth of his account. His experience has become part of a larger body of evidence that challenges materialist worldviews, pushing researchers to explore the frontiers of consciousness studies. John's story has sparked new avenues of inquiry, prompting scientists to design innovative experiments to investigate the nature of consciousness and its potential to exist independently of the physical brain. As John's legacy continues to unfold, his journey has become a bridge between the seemingly disparate realms of science, spirituality, and human experience. Researchers now collaborate with spiritual leaders and near-death experiencers like John, seeking to understand the profound insights gained during these extraordinary journeys. This unprecedented cooperation has led to groundbreaking studies that merge cutting-edge neuroscience with ancient wisdom traditions, opening up new possibilities for understanding the human mind and its potential. The impact of John's experience extends far beyond academic circles. His story has inspired countless individuals to reevaluate their priorities, fostering a greater appreciation for life and a diminished fear of death. People from all walks of life have reported feeling more connected to others and to the world around them after hearing John's account, echoing his message of universal love and interconnectedness. As we stand on the cusp of new discoveries, John's journey continues to serve as a catalyst for exploration and understanding. The questions raised by his experience have sparked a renaissance in consciousness research, pushing the boundaries of what we thought possible. With each passing year, the ripples of John's near-death journey spread further, touching more lives and inspiring new generations to ponder the great mysteries of existence. John J. Davis's extraordinary journey into the afterlife challenges our fundamental understanding of existence itself. His vivid account of a realm beyond our physical world invites us to question long-held beliefs about life, death, and the very nature of consciousness. Davis's experience suggests that our awareness may continue even after clinical death, hinting at the possibility of a reality that transcends our current scientific understanding. Perhaps the most profound revelation from Davis's journey is the power of love as the fundamental force of the universe. His encounter with beings of light and the overwhelming sense of unconditional acceptance he experienced paint a picture of an existence where love is not just an emotion, but the very fabric of reality. This insight has the potential to transform how we view our relationships, our purpose, and our place in the cosmos. As Dr. Bruce Grayson, a respected researcher in the field of near-death experiences, states, near-death experiences can transform our understanding of existence, revealing the profound interconnectedness of all life and the power of love. Davis's account serves as a bridge between the scientific and the spiritual, challenging us to expand our understanding of what is possible and reminding us of the profound mysteries that still surround human consciousness.